Madame Gourgaud's portrait, 1924. Still life with apples on pink cloth, 1925. This radiantly beautiful study of yellow apples set against a pink cloth which reverberates with the blue of the background hanging is an exceptionally fine instance of the artist mid-career, halfway between his beginnings and his culmination. Like many of the odalisques of this decade, this is a pivotal work both in style and subject. Like the figure and interior studies, this painting shows the artist seeking an intimacy of scale and a compensatory reduction in overpowering architectonic design. Interior with phonograph, interior with mirror, 1924. Sometimes titled Still Life with Raised Curtain, certainly a more complete and focused description of the subject, this muted, sunlit interior provides a striking contrast to the monumental studio paintings of 1911. The studio is empty of people, the model dismissed. Only the artist is present, in a slight mirror image in the distance, visible just at the point where the curtain, employed to different effect in Moorish screen, has been gathered up. There, the fully spread curtain served as a foil for the two conversing models. Here, it is employed with an intent of providing a picture within a picture. The light sources are complex. Not only is there the light from the implied window at the left, whose panes cast their grid of shadows on the opposite wall at the right, but also the light from the window of the room in the distance, through which is framed still another view. The still life in the foreground, consisting of a pineapple, some oranges and lemons, a flowered china bottle, and a vase of flowers, is set off by a red and white striped cloth. The play of the yellow lemons against the bronze tray and the pale yellow-orange hues of the pineapple is indicative of the artist's refined sensibility in search of ever-different adventures in color. Notable also is the way in which the vase is here outlined in white, whereas in paintings of a more intense palette, black was sometimes used to support the structure of objects. Sitting Nude in Red, 1925. Decorative Figure, 1925. This is traditionally considered the culmination of Matisse's preoccupation with the female nude in an Oriental setting. The background is a remarkable series of variations on a decorative theme, with a nominally repetitive motif that, as painted, never repeats itself exactly in the same way. Although the figure sits in stark contrast to the ever-varying curves of this backdrop, which contains, nearly lost within its density, the Moorish mirror seen earlier in the painter and his model, the drapery twined from behind her back across her thigh serves as crucial link. The model sits within a grayish zone on the floor, which serves to separate the patterns of the carpet from those of the wall hanging. In addition, there are a potted plant, a bowl of fruit, and in the lower right, the suggestion of the corner of a veined marble-topped table. Yet, in spite of this profusion of objects and motifs, the composition never seems cluttered. Everything falls into place, even the abrupt, unnaturally straight line of the model's back. Yellow Odalisque, 1926. The sumptuously modeled, opulently colored reclining nudes, together with the odalisques in Moorish costume, represent as a group the artist's most revealing theme in the 1920s. For the most part, it is clear that these women are occupants of the artist's own studio space, and in effect, their presence serves to eroticize the objects from his own collections, screens, hangings, and so forth. The Red Odalisque, 1928. It is notable that he did not pay much attention to this master's art until some 2 decades after his discovery of Cézanne, even though he may have seen Renoir's work at Vollars around 1900. Hence, Matisse was maturely equipped not to borrow from or submit to the influence of Renoir, but rather to clarify and intensify his late classical romantic study of the female form. In his nudes and odalisques of the early 1920s, Matisse had already explored Renoir's way of treating a classical theme. Now he turned, logically and methodically, to a rephrasing in his own manner of elements drawn from Ingres's even purer neoclassicism. By turning in Ingres's direction at the end of the 20s, he was echoing a tendency that had emerged a decade earlier in the work of his greatest rival, Picasso. At the same time, this new influence in Matisse's art was completely consistent with his own inner development, and would shortly be revealed in the murals and the book designs of the early 30s. Woman with a Veil, Portrait of Mademoiselle H.D., 1927. The rich, sonorous color of this intense study is an extreme statement of the artist's palette at the time. The woman's body seems enveloped in an enormous stole of a diagonal checkered pattern. The local colors, save for the flesh tones and the gray diaphanous sleeves, seem to be largely of the artist's invention. The red, green, and yellow are close to the hues Matisse normally employed as a fauve, but the atmosphere of the picture is transformed into something more luxuriant by the violets and pale blues of the background. The pose of the head, balanced on the model's hand, and the insistent relation of the body to the contour of the chair are suggestive of Ingres. Still Life and Green Cabinet, 1928. Young Lady in a Yellow Dress, 1930. Study for Dance 1, 1930. Composed as a mural to fit an architecturally confining space in Dr. Barnes's main picture gallery,